So I'm going to be honest with you. This January's been a little difficult, and perhaps it's been difficult for you too. And there's a number of reasons for that. I think first off, Christmas is just this high season, a lot of excitement, a lot of festivities, a lot of cookies, a lot of fun, and just this great celebration of the Nativity. And then all of a sudden, it's New Year's, we're in January, and we just kind of enter into the depths and darkness, of cold winter. So that's part of it. But I think most especially it's because, there's been a lot of death this January, more death than I've ever been around in my life. And with tons of anointings, tons of funerals, just tons of, close friends I've known who have died, and also close friends and their parents passing away. And I think this past week has been especially hard. It started off with Monday, buried someone who I'd actually was the first person I anointed when I arrived here at St. Pat's, and helped walk with her a little bit, offering prayer and guiding her through cancer until she passed away. And then I answered a sick call after that, and that person passed away this week. And then Wednesday, we buried Father John Bachlan, my priest brother. And for those of you who don't know, he was the pastor of St. Peter's, and he passed away the Thursday before that. And so that was very hard. He's someone who I looked up to, someone who I would call a friend, and so that was very difficult. And for those of you who you might not know, but Monsignor Deutsch's father passed away this Friday. And so, it's been a hard January. And how did I respond to that? I did a lot of complaining. I've done a lot of complaining, both to my parents, my close friends, Monsignor, and anyone who will hear it. I'm not going to go into lengths of those complaints, but just kind of speak into that kind of interior monologue I've had, just kind of dealing with this passing of Father Bachlan. So, Father Bachlan, he's kind of left a big hole, not only in St. Peter's. Not only will I miss him, but he's kind of left this big hole in our presbyterate, because the reality of the matter is, when I look out at the ranks of priests, there's just not as many as we need. And so I'm scared, Lord, what does this mean for me? The reality of the matter is that we don't have just this big kind of bench of big priests that are ready to take up and take the reins. What happens is that it's kind of like this dam, and there's all these kind of holes and spouts, and there's priests that could kind of cover holes, but you're kind of shuffling things around. And so, Lord, what does this mean for me? And what we realize is that actually there's something kind of biblical about complaints. For example, Job is basically a book about complaints. We get a little bit of tidbit of that in the first reading. Job is wondering, how can God allow bad things to happen to good people? But there's something a little different about his complaints. The reality is that he brings it into dialogue with God. It's not just simply crying out to the heavens, life is terrible. It's in dialogue with the Lord. He makes a prayer out of it. And in doing so, he allows the Lord to enter where he's at, to dwell with him. And as we know in the book of Job, it turns out all right. Although there's great hardship, he speaks of the drudgery, the fastness, the quickness of life, but the Lord is there. He's always dwelling with him. And so I just want to leave you with is that it's okay to complain, but we want to make it a prayer. And I've found in my complaints, as I have brought them to the Lord in dialogue, he's allowed me to see my own heart and to really kind of get the heart of where I'm hurting. Why am I hurting with all these things that are happening? And what I realized is that there's this fear of the future. The fear of the future, because I realized how much I love being here at St. Pat's, how much I love being your priest, how much I love you, and how much I enjoy my priesthood. And so the fear is this idea of just being moved away from what I love, and just that fear of the unknown of what my priesthood looks like. There's just this reality is that I'll probably be a pastor before my time, and there's a certain kind of fear that comes with that. But in the midst of kind of, what I'm struggling with, what I found out is that he has been here with me. I love it here. I love it here so much. And I was at the Emerald Evening on Friday night, and I was kind of stepping in. Monsignor wasn't able to attend. I was able to kind of be that representation as a priest, and I just enjoyed myself so much with this Catholics Week, and he's just been here and giving grace in all these hard times too. And so today, it's okay to complain, but we want to make that into a prayer. And when we do that, the Lord not only reveals our own hearts to see where we're hurting, but when we discover where we're hurting, what that allows us to do, like Simon Peter, is to invite the Lord into that, to be present with us. And we know today here, the sacrifice of the Mass, he gives of himself to us, that regardless of how hard this January was, regardless of the drudgery that sometimes his life could be, he's there with us, and he wants to lead us to the promised land.